Zerpa.
It's the place to be, and we're glad you stopped by. Welcome into LakePoint Sports, where we've got a matchup in our game of the day from the Georgia Open State Championship. I'm Cory McCartney, and we are coming to you live from the Baseball Village. We've got Athens Elite against USA Scout from the 14U division. Figures to be worth the wait. Things maybe get started a little bit earlier than we anticipated. Weather has been an issue here in Emerson, Georgia. Some games on Friday night were pushed into Saturday, meaning instead of a 10:45 time limit that we're used to, we're running with a 1 hour, 30-minute time limit. I'll be joined along the way today by Prep Baseball Georgia's Avery Hunt and our own Grayson Rosen with plenty more surprises along the way. Now, we are inching closer to the heart of our baseball schedule that summer when the best players in the nation converge on our fields. Chief among those teams is going to be Canes National. A fixture behind the plate for them is Franklin Zerpa, Maryland's top-ranked catcher in 2027. He was here recently on campus during the spring break experience for DeMatha Catholic. I talked to him about his influence of Wilson Contreras behind the plate and his approach at the hitter, and also how you get to work with older pitchers as a younger catcher. In the spotlight here with Franklin Zerpa, the top-ranked catcher in Maryland in the class of 2027, fourth overall in his class. Franklin, man, welcome back to LakePoint Sports.
Thank you. It's amazing. I feel amazing right now. Thank you for having me.
I say welcome back. You were here last summer with Canes American for an NPI. Tell me about playing on these fields as a catcher. What do you like about it?
Nah, it's not. This field is amazing. I just like how this field is. It's awesome. Nice plays here. Good competition every time. So it's good.
The metrics on you got the pop time down to the 1.9s. You got that catcher velo up above 80. I mean, the skills are ridiculous. You got the build of the catcher, 5'9", 225 pounds, fire hydrant built. But let's talk about the kind of the mental side of being a catcher. Obviously, you've got to be able to go out and have those conversations with your pitcher. Tell me how you kind of grow into that over time.
I'm just thinking about, be a leader. Just try to be like a quarterback in this sport, Try to transmit that I'm the leader. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess that's it.
When you're a younger guy, how do you build that with older pitchers who are maybe, you know, they've got their own way of doing things, but as a younger guy, you're trying to help them, you know, kind of set the standard going through a game?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just want to help him, like talk to him a lot, you know, be like calling the 2 outs every time, just give them some confidence and just make them feel confident with me, like catch the ball, that's it. So that's pretty much it.
When you've got the long high school season and then you know you've got the travel season going off of that, your legs are going to be such a big thing for you. So tell me about what you did this past winter to get yourself ready physically for what comes ahead.
You know, just work, be consistent like every time, working a lot, running a lot, just to get like in shape to like catch all these games. Just work hard, that's it. And you know, work hard pays off, so I think that's it. Yeah, it's good.
Tell me about the influences for you as a catcher when you were kind of figuring out the kind of player you wanted to be. Who did you look up to? Who did you model your game after?
You know, my motto is Wilson Contreras when he was like in the Cubs.
Okay.
I like him like so much. He's like my favorite player. I just love him a lot, and I like how he's played. His physicality a lot. So yeah, he's a good athlete too. So that's my motto in the MLB catcher. So
when you're watching him, what are you specifically looking for and watching that you kind of say, oh yeah, that's kind of something I can take into
his actions a lot. Like when he throws to the second and all that, like his arm actions, all that. I try to look like him when I'm catching. So yeah, that's pretty much.
All right, we talked about you behind the plate as a catcher, but I always like to kind of figure out how guys get done what they do at the plate. So I want to get a bat in your hand and have you show us your setup. Sound good?
Yeah. First time I go 7 bucks, still like this, a little bit jump in, so good and confident. Look at the picture right here. You know, right now I'm trying to think, line to the middle, stay inside. Boom. Be aggressive every time. Just be confident. Trust my hands. Just work back a little bit. So he'll line right for second base hit. That's it.
Franco, man, thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. If you're not already, make sure you follow LakePoint Sports on all our social media channels. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You get so much more happening here on campus. Little broadcasting 101 there. Make sure you check your clothes that you wore in the pre-taped interview before you figure out what you're going to wear on live television. But nonetheless, there is more to this place than you'll ever know across weekends that got more hits than Sadahara O. But the on-field action, just part of the offerings here at LakePoint Sports, where we effort to provide a best-in-class experience. That includes access to testing and player performance data that is redefining evaluation and recruiting. Curve Test Centers gives athletes an unprecedented look at how they measure up through its ball, body, and brain approach to testing. Let's go inside the Curve Test Center.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them. The effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good. The poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Cory McCartney now joined by Avery Hunt as we get a little bit closer to first pitch here between Athens Elite and USA Scout from the 14U division of the Georgia State Open Championships. Now, this is a big weekend for Avery Hunt, his last one before his wedding. So Avery, I kind of want you to think about this broadcast today as your baseball bachelor party, and all of us are invited. So we've actually got a shot of us, all of us at your baseball bachelor party. So you see the whole crew there, me and you, holding us all back. Got Jack on the top there, Maddie, Mason, and Grayson. So we're all here, and we are ready to roll for your baseball bachelor party on this Saturday. So I hope you're ready for it. It's going to get a little loud in here.
That's awesome. That's a great graphic.
All right, we again are headed towards first pitch here between Athens Elite and USA Scout from the 14U division of Georgia Open State Championships. We'll cut over to the field here momentarily, and we'll be joining you shortly here, more in the studio once we get a little bit closer to first pitch. So we'll see you shortly.
One.
Welcome back. Cory McCartney, Avery Hunt with you. We got our starting lineups here presented by the Windscreen Factory. So let's go ahead and take a look at how Athens Elite and USA Scout will roll out today. Athens Elite will be led off by center fielder Harrison Ray. Then it's shortstop Jackson Allgood, Cooper Salmon, Jace Maddox, Charlie Wentworth, Jake Watkins, Kai Alford, Carson Miller, Owens Fusco, and Hutch Crow. Meanwhile, USA Scout leading off with Brogan Stevens, followed by Logan Tilk, Sawyer Ferguson, Tate Broom, Austin Lacozong. I know I'm going to butcher that one all day long. Graham Dooley, Talon Wright, Cal Morrison, Cole Trawitt, Carson Cantrell, and Holden Lloyd. They'll have Broom on the mound. So again, we are just moments away from first pitch here between Athens Elite and USA Scout. Pitcher going through his final warm-up pitches. Carson Miller, again, will be on the mound, and he'll be facing off against Tate Broom. Let's head back to the field as we get things started here on this matchup. Now, you were feverishly watching the weather today. I mentioned during our intro in the pregame that Friday night's games were halted. You guys had to cram everything in this morning. We're playing an hour 30, and there is, if this was like a disaster movie, it's looming over Emerson, Georgia right now.
Yeah, it's luckily right now it's a lot of rain. No, obviously strong storms. Last night that was not the case. It would have went into a delay about 8:30, 8:45, and it would have ended up being 11 o'clock, 10:45, 11 o'clock before we could get the guys back out and playing. So obviously just punted those games until today, and sometimes you just have to roll with the punches, obviously, as we get them. So trying to get as much as we can done today. Hopefully we can get it all in if Mother Nature will cooperate with us, but we shall see. So rather it rain this weekend than next weekend, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned, the wedding day is looming, and this, again, is doubling as Avery's baseball bachelor party, so I hope USA Scout and Athens Elite are up to the task. But nerves, are you just ready for it to be over with? Like, where do you sit?
So, like, being in front of people is not like that doesn't bother me. Obviously, as far as obviously there are nerves. I just want everything to go correctly. I mean, not for me.
You just got to show up.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't really care, but I know it's important to Kimberly. So if she's happy, I'm happy. So happy wife, happy life.
That's right. Carson Miller on the mound right now for Athens Elite, north of Coney, 2028, third prep baseball event for him. We've got him with a fastball up around 72. He's facing off against Brogan Stevens. And Brogan's is a past player of the game, homeschooled player from here in Georgia, ninth prep baseball event for him. Brogan's playing left field for USA Scout today. See a few raindrops. 1-2 count. Our camera's not switching over. We're not getting that nice outfield view today.
It looks like we're just rolling with behind the plate view.
Yep.
But
we'll get the LakePoint IT team on that. I'm sure that's something they're going to want to deal with after we've had lightning through the area. Never know. Like that's one of the things, right? It's like because so much of what we're doing with these AI cameras, it's all obviously technology based. When we have storms that come through, there's always something that runs awry.
I'll never forget, it was my second or third year here, and I was walking between the concourses during a lightning delay, and lightning struck that pole that you can see right above the outlet sign in right field.
Yeah.
Right next to the LakePoint logo. That pole got struck by lightning.
Yikes.
That messed up some electronics for a couple days, and I don't know that I've ever hit the ground faster than that day. So don't advise being outside during times like that.
Logan Tilk now at the plate for USA Scout. Stevens draws that leadoff walk. Leadoff walks often come back to haunt you. We'll see if Athens Elite can put a nix on that here. Try to hold court. USA Scout was trailing 6-1, I believe it was, against Rawlings Tigers. Ends up getting out of that one with a 6-6 tie. Runners taken off for second, and Stevens will easily have that as it sails and is cut off by the shortstop.
With a little rain last night, obviously some rain falling now. Slide early. That turf gets wet, and we see guys slide past the bag a good bit.
Well, these USA Scout players who primarily practice on these fields are all too familiar with what it takes to play on these fields on a daily basis. One goes foul. Tilk at the plate, a Harrison 2029. So where are you guys getting married at? What's not that I'm inviting people to go crash said wedding. I'm just
I'll give
asking.
them this: if they can find that, if they can find our venue just randomly in a random city in South Carolina, they are more than welcome to come. It's on Lake Huey in Seneca, South Carolina, so about 15 minutes from downtown Clemson.
Okay. Did you invite Dabo?
I did not invite Dabo. Saw Kirby Smart last weekend, Georgia alumni. Thought about shooting him an invite. Sure, he's got a lot going on.
Well, so I've heard people that kids who are graduating from high school and college sending stuff off to famous people and having them actually, like, somebody sent something to Adam Sandler and then Adam Sandler sent,
send him a care package.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
almost.
So you guys should do stuff like that, right? Like, who's to say you would have been like, big Georgia fan, getting married, Kirby want to invite you, but then you end up getting some like those John Gruden boxes that he's been opening up, and you could have had a whole box of Georgia swag.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I don't like to bother people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I'm sure they've got enough going on. It's like, I'm good. We have too many, and this is, champagne problems, but, we already have too many gifts. So, we have an entire room in our house that's just, wedding gifts, which is awesome. Love friends and family, but, we're running out of space.
Yeah, but if you had gotten a box full of Georgia gear, as that one is roped into center field and it's going to be hauled in, but runner's going to tag up from third, and USA Scout is on the board up 1-0 off that sacrifice fly from Logan Tilk.
Yes, a box full of Georgia stuff would have been awesome.
Well, maybe that would have been the play. Maybe he would have sent you that, and then you would have, then all the appliances and all the other stuff you guys got coming would feel that much better.
It's a lot of kitchen stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that it doesn't really matter to me, but my fiance, soon-to-be wife, loves that stuff. So, she's happy. I got a golf travel bag, and Matt Yarber, our VP down here in Georgia, sent me an ice maker, and that's been a big hit so far at the house. We got the Zaxby's little cube ice, and that's been a big hit. So, Yarbs, if you're tuned in, shout out you for the ice maker. It's been the best gift we've gotten so far.
And it's not even hot yet, right? You guys will love it when we get closer to those hotter days in the summer. Sawyer Ferguson at the plate. He'll be behind the plate here shortly for USA Scout. Ferguson, Allatoona 2029. 15th prep baseball event for him. The ever-present Joey Odak not on the USA Scout roster today, so
must have something big going on.
I guess you get him pried away from LakePoint Sports. You got to use a crowbar sometimes to do that. So Joey will appreciate the shout out, I'm sure. He's not even playing. 3-0 count here to Ferguson. And that's in for a strike. Read an interesting article this morning on The Athletic about some frustration with Major League pitchers that apparently this winter the umpires in a mode to try to be more by the rule book in the strike zone. They used to have a 2-inch border around the strike zone that they allowed the umpires to work with. That's now down to 3/4 of an inch. So a lot of the pitchers who thought they were going to get away with pitches before, they're no longer getting them as strikes.
That's insane.
And they didn't know about it. A lot of the guys, like Travis d'Arnaud, was like, we had no clue, that this was happening, and now they're having to adjust in real time.
That seems like something that you might want to send out before the season starts.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, last night during the weather fiasco we had going on, had the Braves game on the third screen in the office.
Yep.
And I don't know the guy's name, but pretty good strike zone. From what I saw,
there was some early splitters from Yamamoto that were like really low, and the guys were. You could tell, like, I think there was one Azuna in particular. Just he was like rolled his eyes at the home plate umpire on that one. But it's
with guys throwing 95 to 100, and the stuff moves like it moves.
With that kind of break, I don't even know how you differentiate.
I don't know how
sometimes.
you hit it.
Yeah,
calling balls and strikes is probably easier than hitting it, but I guess you get accustomed to it, right? I mean, you see 95 every night, it becomes 82, but that is not it's not an easy job that I would want to sign up for.
And not only that, you're also taking into account that every catcher now pulls everything up. So you've got even less of a reaction time with once that hits the glove and their hands are elevated. It's like you better have some quick recall.
Mm-hmm. You also have to take into account that a guy might barely nick one and it could hit you square in the face. Yeah. So that's also that happened last night. Had his neck guard got busted off, so that was nice.
Yikes. Ferguson easily takes second. Tate Broom, another former player of the game for USA Scout, now at the plate. Rain's coming down a little bit harder here. We hear it hitting on the roof of our studio here in the Baseball Village. Ferguson's shaking off his hands there at second base. I say Ferguson, I'm pretty sure he was replaced by a courtesy runner, but our camera not showing us that view behind second base. Was working in the previous game before this.
It just took us hopping on here to mess it up just enough.
That's right. Two-one count now as Tate Broom's at the plate. Broom Sonoraville 2029. Ninth prep baseball event for him was also at the Rising Stars preseason All-State back in March. I do like, I mentioned this to you when I saw it, the Waffle House-esque prep baseball logo. It's a good look.
Yeah, we got some more stuff coming down the pipeline with this design. If you've tuned into enough of these broadcasts or been around the ballpark, I'm a huge fan of anything that's a short sleeve hoodie. So I've got some connections that I was like, hey, let's throw this logo on a short sleeve hoodie. So if you're coming around the ballpark here in the next month or so, those should be in the store. So shout out Crystal Miller and our merch team. So they do a good job, and I always make sure I look good for all these broadcasts.
There you go.
Walk around the ballpark.
Now have Austin Lacuzong at the plate. I'm hoping I'm getting it right now. Alatuna, third baseman and catcher. Third prep baseball event for him. 5'10", 185 pounds. It better be a tight end.
Looks like we're just struggling to get a little grip on the baseball right now. Maybe needs a new one. Get him a new baseball out there so it got a little dryness to it.
Yeah, towels are going to be the biggest accessory here on a day like this. Trying to get that grip. We've got runners at first and second. USA Scout up 1-0. Kuzong's now got a 3-0 count. Kuzong, a 20-28, playing in his third prep baseball event. And he draws. It's just going to give him a high strike there, make the count 3-1. That's that 2-inch.
Yeah, so he got it in the buffer zone.
Yeah, rain's starting to come down a little bit harder now. Our concern here is always lightning strikes, and hopefully we avoid any of those. Draws a walk. Bases will now be loaded as Lacuzon makes his way down to first, and I'll bring up Graham Dooley, the extra hitter.
This would be a good time to have the old rosin bag, the old school rosin bag, on the back of the mound. At least these are not all natural fields where you got mud in your cleats and you have to clean your spikes off.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but it's interesting behind the plate, though. You mentioned that we got Jace Maddox behind the plate for Athens Elite. No towel. You think about trying to wipe your hands off when you're throwing the ball back or trying to throw it down to one of the bases. I think that would be a opportune accessory for the catcher today.
Absolutely.
He's got the sliding mitt, though. Maybe he can get enough friction off the sliding mitt to wipe his hands off. Or he just reach back and use the umpire's leg. That'd be a good play, right? Endear yourself. Bases loaded.
Hey, Blue, let me borrow that. Let me borrow your left pant leg real quick. Thanks.
Bases loaded, 1-1 count. USA Scout up 1-0. Soon to be married. Avery Hunt in here, studio with us. Swings through that one. Makes it 1-2. What's the shortest amount of time that you've made games last when you're trying to condense things for weather? Is 1:30, like, where do you typically? I mean, I know we obviously 1:30 we're cutting off 15, but how short of a window have you looked at in the past?
I think at some point we've done an hour 15, maybe. I think an hour 30 is as short as we've gone, because you get below an hour 30 and it gets a little Mickey Mouse-ish. You know, it's like, what are we actually doing here?
So it's not ever going to be first to score.
I would love that.
Next run wins.
Sudden death.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy, right? I'm sure there'd be some frustration when these teams got 3-game guarantees and they're playing.
You can play 3 outs.
Yeah, play 3 outs.
Pitchers each get to throw 10 pitches apiece.
That's right.
Probably wouldn't go over real well.
So a strikeout of Dooley, and that'll bring up Talon Wright, Alatoona 2028. 14th prep baseball event for this lefty. He's got a 2-0 count. Miss high. You understand if Miller's having a little bit of trouble holding on to that baseball. Some pretty large pelts of rain coming down now.
See, I think all pitchers need to have flex tape or flex seal on the ball. Or
There
on the
you go,
mat.
yeah.
I feel like that would help a lot. Free shout out, flex tape sponsor.
Yeah,
us.
we get flex tape. Yeah, flex tape on the baseballs, right? We could have all-weather baseballs that would have flex tape on them.
Yeah, that's, we have the umpires checking in between innings. That might draw some red flags.
Yeah, yeah. And for a strike count now 2-2. I say make that 2-1. I was just getting a little bit ahead of myself. USA Scout has a 1-0 lead and plenty of traffic on the base pass here against Athens Elite. Swings through that one. Miller's starting to find himself a little bit more now. I'm sure some of those Athens Elite players are just looking over at that dugout, just longing for an opportunity to go dry off. See if Miller provides that. He's got a 2-2 count. Wright steps out. This seems like it's really the heaviest of it that's about to come over. Right?
This is probably as heavy as it's going to get. So as long as we can sustain this for just a little bit, we should be okay. Looks like it's, at least from the sounds of the container here, it's like it's letting up a little bit. I'll say that and it'll start pouring. But, it looks like all the heavy stuff is going to be west of us. So that's a positive. It's the beauty of having these fields is we can play in rain or shine. So as long as there's no lightning in the area, we're good.
Comes a payoff pitch from Miller. Of course, runners all taken off, and that one's going foul, and everyone will retreat back to their homes. USA Gymnastics has an event going on over at the Champion Center today, so that place is going to be absolutely packed out.
Good day to play an indoor sport.
Yeah. Man, gets the punch out, leaves the bases loaded. Miller, nice job rebounding, but USA Scout has taken a 1-0 lead. We'll be back with more. You're watching the Georgia Open State Championship from LakePoint Sports.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one,
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete in all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf. Because we're busy women. We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Athens Elite against USA Scout from the 14U division of the Georgia Open State Championship. Have Harrison Ray at the plate right now for Athens Elite. He'll be followed by Jackson Allgood and Cooper Salmon. On the mound for USA Scout, we got Tate Broom. Ray puts that in play. Shortstop has it. It goes right through his legs. That's an extra 10 points there, I think, for Harrison Ray, as he's got himself a leadoff single.
Yep, go to the NHL playoff season. You always got to get the glove down, protect the 5-hole.
Is that so in soccer that's a nutmeg when it goes through? So that's a
got to protect the 5-hole.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It's a lot going on in the sports world right now. You got NBA playoffs, MLB, college baseball, NHL playoffs. Derby day.
Yeah, we'll get into some Derby stuff here in a little bit. But yeah, big day in sports is Allgood gets the bunt down, throw over, but they do advance the runner, pulls him off the bag, and he's going to be safe. So Broom's throw just went a little wide, and now Athens Elite's in business with the first two batters of the inning here reaching. Got Cooper Salmon now stepping in, the first baseman. The Athens Elite players were talking before the game about the oddities of guys' numbers, and someone had number 45, and they said, "Who has 45? Like, why would you pick 45?" And somebody else says, Salmon's got 99. They'll say, "Well, that's Aaron Judge's numbers." Like back in the day, if somebody would have had number 99, you said, "Man, you got the bottom of the barrel there, buddy."
Yeah, it's when I grew up, you got you got numbers based on what size shirt you wore.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're an XL guy, you're getting in the 90s.
Yeah.
My travel baseball number, 35 pounds ago was, I was number 95, I think. A big guy.
Well, the only person who wore 99 back in the day was Ricky Vaughn.
Yeah, the Wild Thing.
Yeah.
The Major League, the first one, the good Rick Vaughn.
Now every travel team's got a kid wearing number 99. You couldn't find one back in the day.
45, Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, Cecil Fielder was 45. Both runners going to advance off that wild pitch. Being from Ohio, Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner, was 45, but that's obviously not baseball. Go out here and have a conversation with Broom. So you mentioned the Kentucky Derby. So I want to put this on you. There are a number of people who name their bats. Shoeless Joe Jackson named his bat Betsy. Hunter Pence has named all his bats, including one named Fryer. So let's put the Kentucky Derby graphic up on screen here. If you had to pick one of these names from the Derby today that you would name your baseball bat, Avery, what would it be?
I'm going to take the favorite in the Derby, journalism. But if we're going to go bat name. The Final Gambit.
I like that.
Tiz-tastic's a good one.
Yeah, I would say Chunk of Gold or Render Judgment just sounds like.
Those are good ones.
Yeah, that's it. You don't want to mess around. Like that guy steps to the plate with Render Judgment in his hands. I mean, it's you're going to be left questioning what God you pray to by the time Render Judgment's done what it's needed to do.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I'm not very into horse racing, but my dad is, so we always watched the Derby growing up. So I always tune in every year. Don't really know. I know journalism's the favorite. Just listened to a podcast this morning. Pardon my take from
there you
Barstool
go.
Sports
Nice.
guys. They had a guy on there named Randy Moss, not the football player, going through some stuff, and I was sitting there on my commute listening like I knew what was happening. Had not a clue, but
You gotta.
I knew it would come up on the broadcast today, so I had
there
to
you
be
go. I like it.
A little pregame.
Well, it's always about the hats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's always. The Derby thing is about. If you don't like horse racing, you can either tune in and look at the ridiculous hats and the fashion and all that. So. I had a buddy when I was back covering NASCAR, and he spent part of the weekend. It was Talladega weekend and Kentucky Derby weekend were shared that one. Oh, man, hits off the third baseman, and that's going to get away from him. Athens Elite's on the board off a crazy hit. Man, looked like it was going to go foul if he just letting it go, but Lacazong makes contact with it, stops the ball, and Athens Elite's now got a tie ball game here. Going to bring up Charlie Wentworth as Owens Fusco is now standing at first base and got himself an RBI. 84 exit velo off that hard hit ball to third. And Broom's trying to towel himself off here in real time. It's now going to bring Charlie Wentworth to the plate. I mentioned that colleague, though, on that weekend. He started off his weekend in the Kentucky Derby infield and then went to Talladega to do a story from their infield and the similarities and differences between those two crews. But
that could probably be a pretty different crowd.
Yeah, but one constant was the lengths that people would go to sneak adult beverages into the facility, including putting stuff in Ziploc bags and keeping them on their person. And yeah,
it's it's like. It's always interesting. I'm sure they've cracked down on it now. But you go to an SEC football game, you walk through the designated student sitting area, and I'm sure there's probably some similarities between the groups of people trying to sneak in stuff here and there. I know most SEC schools now are selling adult beverages at games,
right.
So that makes it a little bit easier. But for those freshman and sophomore college kids that I'm sure don't consume anything underage, probably can sneak in a thing or two when they want to.
Well, we talk about, so you go to an SEC football game, you might as well be at the Kentucky Derby because a lot of times people are dressed just like they're at the Kentucky Derby, especially in places like Ole Miss. Not so much when you get up like Kentucky and Florida are the outlier schools, right? That one is ripped into left field, and that's going to have them on the run. One run in for Athens Elite. Here comes another run. They're going to make it 3. Yep. Wentworth's on his way to third base, and he's got himself a bases-clearing triple as he holds on to the bag. And, man, Athens Elite coming out swinging here in the first.
Absolutely taking advantage of some free bases and, a little bit of sloppy defense here from the USA Scout guys. And, was able to stay on that pitch and drive it all the way to the left center field wall. And, always good when you get a bases-clearing triple.
Monsignor Donovan Catholic 2028, Charlie Wentworth. Try to say that school name 3 times fast. He's got Athens Elite, though, up 4-1 now in the bottom of the first inning. That's going to bring up Jake Watkins. Watkins, Walnut Grove 2029.
We're talking a little bit about, some outfits that you see at different events. So I did notice this a few years ago at the Peach Bowl when Georgia played Ohio State, the kick at the end.
Yep.
It seems that the Ohio State fans were more dominant in, wearing jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big jersey thing.
So that's the thing up north, right? You go up to Big Ten country, and everyone it's like an NFL game.
Yeah.
But down south, it's more of it's a cultural event.
Yeah, it's
I say cultural event, but it's more of like a...
You dress like you're going to play golf.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. You've absolutely got it. I came down here initially to work for Sports Illustrated and cover college football, and that was the first thing that I noticed. And I used to do a series of articles as well on tailgates for them. I would crash tailgates and go around and oftentimes dress as the fan of an opposing team, and then go out and kind of do a first-person article on what it was like at those tailgates. Went to a Georgia one time when they were playing Tennessee, all dressed up in Tennessee gear. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, it depends on what year it was, probably. These days, it's probably a little bit more.
Yeah, this was still in the Phil Fulmer days. So you had Rick versus Fulmer, and
yeah, there's gone to my fair share of SEC stadiums outside of Athens. It depends. It's a dependent on where you're at. A stadium that that I had a lot of, got a lot of backlash at. We went to South Carolina, and in Columbia. And granted, I probably stuck out like a sore thumb. It's 98 degrees, and I had on long red pants with G's on them, and loafers and a visor, the Kirby Smart visor.
Yeah.
And to get to their stadium, it's in the middle of a fairground. You have to walk through all of the South Carolina tailgates to get to the stadium. It was not perceived very well that day. So,
just saw Watkins go down on strikes. Kai Alford now steps in with one down.
Just got a text from our guy on the other side of the complex that we have somebody coaching first base with an umbrella. So
nice.
Not sure
I've ever seen that before. I'm not sure what the policy is on that.
Not sure what we got if a ball hits the umbrella, but I'm assuming that's just part of the coach at that point. So hopefully we don't run into that issue.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Comes a 2-0. I think that 3-0 now is Tate Brooms on the mound. His team's trailing 4-1 here in the bottom of the first inning. But again, we saw USA Scout come back from a 6-1 deficit against Rawlings Tigers to even that one up at 6-6. Issues a walk and more traffic, and that's going to be a potential second mound visit for Broom. Let's see if we get any coaches coming over. No, it's just going to be Sawyer Ferguson calling in the troops here. They try to get Broom to settle down. So, well, now we've got a minute. I have to put to you what's really been the biggest debate across social media this week, which is 100 men versus a gorilla and who would win. Avery Hunt, what's your take?
It depends on who the 100 men are.
So let's say I allowed you, and I have a list, I allowed you 5 athletes of any athlete in their prime in which you could add to the mix for those 100 men.
Give me Mike Tyson.
Okay.
That's a punch.
Yep.
Not the Mike Tyson we saw like a year ago, but prime Mike Tyson. Give me Mike Tyson and give me like 4 NFL offensive linemen. Like Orlando Brown. He's with the Bengals.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. He's about 330, 340. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's still in the league. He played at Minnesota in college. Daniel Falele.
Yeah.
He's like 6'9", 6'10", like 385 pounds.
Okay.
Like, give me him.
All right. That's 3.
Yeah. Bo Jackson seems like a good answer.
Okay.
Just do whatever, whenever, and give me prime Connor McDavid. Or not Connor McDavid. What's the UFC
Conor
guy?
McGregor.
Conor McGregor. Connor McDavid's a hockey player, but give me him. I got to have some punch. Maybe the offensive lineman can hold him up.
Okay.
Give me 3 offensive linemen, Mike Tyson and McGregor, and we'll just see punch. Have 3 guys hold on for dear life, and hopefully the punches land and we'll be good there. That's kind of my.
Okay, so you've got distinct strategy with who you're going. So I kind of went. So I went with just what I consider just some bad dudes. So I got Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. Then you got Hafthor Bjornsson, who runner's taken off in the wild pitch. Oh my God! Tate Broom just got taken out. Athens Elite, he pops back up quickly. He's got himself another run, and see if Tate Broom's going to be okay. Frustrating start for him. Checking second here to regroup. 5-1 now the lead for Athens Elite over USA Scout. They're not going to send Owens Fusco to the plate. Number 9 hitter in their order. So you went through your 5. I've got at the top of mind Brock Lesnar. Hafthor Bjornsson, who was the guy who, if you watched Game of Thrones, was the Mountain. He was also a multi-time world's strongest man. So
that's a good guy.
I'm going all athletes as well. Commando era peak Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was in his Mr. Olympia days. Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
So we go to the football side of it, and then I think everyone's going to go with Mike Tyson. So.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those where you gotta have some big guys, but you also gotta have some guys that pack a punch. You know what I mean? Where if it gets to the point of we're fighting the gorilla, we got to have somebody that can punch them and be like, all right.
That's right. Well, for the record, I did see MSNBC had Diane Fossey, Foundation's president. They are the leading authority on gorillas, who's really excited that everyone's talking about gorillas, but said that with the sheer number of humans and the ability to take a rest, strategize, would ultimately lean towards the humans winning in that. So for anybody who is really, truly having that debate. Saws that one off into right field. Everyone's going to stay put. As Fusco flies out, and USA Scouts got them a much-needed out. Now 2 down here in the inning.
Yeah, I mean, a numbers game, if you can give me 15 pro athletes, and I'm not talking like, no disrespect, but like not talking soccer players. I'm talking like NFL linemen, professional fighters. Maybe I know you're a WWE guy, some WWE guys. Like, I think we could figure it out.
Yeah, I just don't think you could take 100 random people and feel
like
it.
me, you, and 98 random friends.
Yeah, if we went around the campus here and collected 98 people and said, "This is the people whose the entire future of humanity lies within our hands," we might be in some trouble.
Yeah, look, if you're putting me against a silverback gorilla and it's humanity's on the line, sorry guys, like I'm.
Well, but then if it's like the Planet of the Apes kind of gorillas, then I think we're in huge trouble. Like if they can think to that degree, yeah.
I'm not signing up for that experiment. I'll be the first one to say.
Okay.
I'll tune in on pay-per-view, see what we got. But
well, coming soon to Netflix,
Avery Hunt is not going to fight a gorilla. So
all right, you've heard it. You've heard it here. We have definitive statement.
Yeah, I'm gonna opt out. It's like a bowl game, and I'm about to get drafted. I'm good.
All right, you might play the first half though and see how it goes. And if it gets bad enough, then you might just be like, "I'm out."
The first 80 guys get beaten to death. It's like, all right, I think I'm.
Kind of just keeps it's like that Homer Simpson gif. You just kind of just start sinking back further into the bushes.
It's going to be 99 guys versus a gorilla. I'm out.
What if that was the determining?
I think there's some weather going on at LakePoint.
You gotta go monitor it.
I gotta go look at the weather radar.
That's right. I know producer Mason's got a take on this, as he said he was going over it with his friends.
Yeah, so for us, it depended on the setting of which the fight took place. We said if it was anything but an open field, then the gorilla would have an advantage.
Okay.
And to answer your top 5, mine are not they're not all athletes, but I got Mike Tyson, going Chuck Norris, Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
It's a good size advantage there.
Let's see, what was the other 2 going to be? I think we're going to use Michael Phelps as cannon fodder.
Okay.
And then to lead the charge, I got to go with my boy Steve Irwin.
Okay.
I feel like his knowledge is going to come in handy, and he'll just kind of poke it with a stick and educate. As you can hear the background, we are having a good time about this.
So, but I don't know if we see I have now Cal Morrison at the plate for USA Scout here, starting things off. But if you think like back to those old Looney Tune cartoons, how like Bugs Bunny would dress up as a female version of himself to woo whoever he was trying to get away from. If you could have somebody dress up as a female gorilla.
That's
right?
what Michael Phelps is for.
Okay. But you say that people can't, you can't have a weapon, but can you weaponize a human as someone that the gorilla may be attracted to, and then that subdues them, and then, we've just figured this thing. We just cracked the code.
It took us an inning, but we're starting to put the pieces together here.
See, with the weapons thing, though, is if the gorilla gets one of you, it's going to use you as like a mace and just hit anybody else.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So if anything, it's only fair that you pick somebody else up and swing them like a bat.
There you go. I like it. Well, Cal Morrison's got a bat in his hand as he tries to get things rolling for USA Scout, down 5-1 here in the top of the second inning. Once again, have Carson Miller, north of Coney, on the mound. Already got 5 runs on 2 hits for Athens Elite. USA Scout, 1 run, no hits. They committed 2 errors in that first inning defensively. Morrison at the plate. Jack McCartney was able to catch up with Cal between games. You'll see that interview post-game.
So just got a text come through from my mom. So shout out Renee Hunt. That Harrison and Kai Alford that are playing for Athens Elite. Their grandmother actually lived next door to me when I was growing up. So shout out those guys for tuning in. So always good information coming through from the family pipelines this morning.
So you literally put it out there. Here's where the wedding's at.
Yeah.
And people now that are listening.
There's two people that know.
They now know.
They've got connections, so they might,
They might show up.
Yeah. It's being catered by my mother, so that's what she does for a living.
But
so.
you've already let them know, too, if they're looking to get you a gift that you want Georgia gear. You don't need any more,
no more
kitchen appliances.
No more pots and pans or wine glasses. We're good.
Morrison ropes that into right center. That's going to be hauled in amongst the raindrops for an out. So a loud out from Cal Morrison, and that's going to bring up Cole Trawick. Don't see too many teams anymore with the bat boy. That's always a good touch. Trawick, North Paulding 2029-2025 Rising Stars preseason All-State invitee. Slinks out of the way of that one.
Looks like we're still got some rain going on, but looks like the heavy stuff is past us for right now. So hopefully it's not going to help the field being wet and the baseballs being wet, but hopefully we can get
Well, if it does rain hard enough, I think we've already set the standard here that you're going to turn into our Jim Cantori, and we're going to have you out there with the camera giving us weather reports.
I'll put the baseball helmet on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could work on that for the summer for sure. I'm sure we'll
have our opportunities.
Yeah. Last Friday, it was a good night for it. It got rough here pretty quick.
2-0 from Miller on that laborious delivery. Took his time with that one. Counts now 3-0.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows anybody to talk to about Friday weather, if we could talk to somebody about that. It seems that 8 o'clock the last 2 Fridays has been kind of the time that all the weather wants to show up here. If we could delay that till early in the morning, that would be awesome. But, if that person wants to reach out and start talking to people about weather for us, we'll have a full-time job for them,
Well, this, of course, was once the homeland of the Cherokee Indians. So I think there's got to be somebody out there that still knows how to do a rain dance and help us get away from that Friday weather.
I might have to reach out to them, learn a thing.
Yep.
Pull one of those out next weekend for the first dance. It'd be good.
Cole Trawick gets the walk, and he's standing at first base. Now got Carson Cantrell at the plate, North Paulding 2029. So we go from one North Paulding 2029 to another. 11th prep baseball event for Cantrell. Trying to eat into this deficit that USA Scout is facing here in the second inning. One's in play right over top of the second baseman, and that's going to be runners at the corners now.
A little hit and run action there from USA Scout. Executed just about as well as you could do it.
Pretty much drew the second baseman away from where he would have been and able to get that runner at third base.
There's a lot of high school baseball coaches right now watching this that are super thrilled by that. Obviously, I'm sure every high school during their batting practice sessions does a hit and run where you got to hit a backside ground ball. So there's a lot of people smiling down on that. The baseball gods are happy.
Runner takes off for second. He'll easily have the bag. Holden Loy now at the plate. Loy, Assumption High School out of Iowa. Iowa hasn't even started their high school baseball season yet.
That's insane. That is crazy to even consider.
And they have, not sure how much you follow what they're doing there in the Prep Baseball Iowa channels, but they have a spring league. So, most of these kids that we have get done with the spring, they play their summer travel. They have basically a spring travel season because a lot of those guys don't get an opportunity because they get done with their wow, Loy really had to get out of the way of that one. They get done with their high school playoffs right before feature games.
I understand with weather, but if Illinois and Ohio can play baseball in March, I think we could probably maneuver something in the state of Iowa. It's not my call to make, but that's just my 2 cents. But
well, it's funny how many high-level kids from Iowa we get to come here in September, because they don't have a chance to come here during the summertime because their schedules are full with high school baseball. But back to the top of the order now with Brogan Stevens. So you can understand Holden Loy wanting to come here and play because he doesn't really have much of an opportunity currently at the high school level in 2028. Well, here and have a word with Carson Miller. He's now got the bases loaded with 1 out in the top of the order now for USA Scout. How did everybody even get on this man versus gorilla thing?
I'm sure there's a podcast or a TikTok out there that somebody brought up, and it got a ton of engagement. And in the world we live in now, hey, if one thing's getting it, you got to hop on the train and get those views while you can.
Well, I saw House of Highlights had a video, and it was a million humans against 1,000 gorillas, and that did not go quite well for the humans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could get ChatGPT to give us a good answer this morning. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about the subject. No free ads, but we're gonna see what. Oh, that's just trying to get me to log in. I don't have a login.
Wild pitch. Brogan Stevenson steps out of the way, and USA Scouts got themselves another run as Trawick crosses the plate. Runners advance to second and third.
ChatGPT says in almost all realistic scenarios, one adult male gorilla would lose to 100 humans if the humans are coordinated and have even basic weapons or tools.
There you go.
You have to consider that the gorilla is between 300 and 500 pounds. Wow. So, hey, that gets us, like our offensive linemen. Let's get them in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Even out that discrepancy a little bit, and then level the playing field a little bit more.
2-0 is now the count here to Stevens. 5-2 lead for Athens Elite in the second inning. It's in for a strike.
Now, this is one of those days that, as parents and players and tournament staff, it's just you'd rather it rain or not rain. This is the kind of rain that's just enough to make everybody just a little irritated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we played my first year here, we played through a day like this, and our strategy was if you stand in the rain as the tournament staff, they cannot get upset with you because you're in the rain just like they are. We've since changed that strategy, but that was an interesting take that we had 5 or 6 years ago.
So if I can suffer, we can all suffer.
Correct. I'll never forget as a 19-year-old intern coming back into the tower with water in my shoes and soaking wet, and back when we wore khaki shorts and a polo every day, and I was just like, what decisions did I make in my youth? So what did you do at work today? I stood in the rain for 8 hours, But we've changed our strategy a little bit here in the more we've progressed, thankfully.
So now they can suffer, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I have some staff. I'm like, hey guys, y'all go wander around a little bit.
There you go.
I don't know that I'm in this standing in the rain business anymore.
A walk to Stevens with 1 out here, and that's going to bring up Logan Tilk with bases now loaded. I think that might be the end of the day for Carson Miller. Let's see. Now he's going to give himself a new baseball, and that sails directly over his head. Here comes the third one.
Let's try the ball that did not get rolled down the third base line.
Maybe we should allow like the sticky stuff on days like this, right?
I mean, hey, you get more spin.
That's right.
Cory, we got a hypothetical question for you.
Oh, I can't wait.
Alrighty, so we were answering this back here in the studio. You each can pick 5 people or things. It's your choice. It can be at any point in history for a pickup game of basketball. Can also be fictional. What will your 5 be?
They're
If
all,
you want an example, we do have a starting roster.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Steven Seagal.
Okay.
We have Stonewall Jackson. We have Space Jam's Michael Jordan. What was your one? William Taft.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a double play here.
Yeah, we got a double play off that line out into into right field. Excuse me.
And
Yes, Scott
Troy
did get a
Bolton
run.
from High School Musical.
Okay.
As in William Taft, the president.
former president.
Yeah, former President William Taft.
Was he not? Was he a large human?
Yeah.
Is that if I'm remembering?
So what
that
about like Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels?
Yep, you can use Gulliver.
Yeah.
Gulliver
So
from
now you're
Gulliver's
talking
Travels.
about a guy who's like 40 foot tall, right?
Yeah.
That would be an adequate size advantage.
Fictional or non-fictional? Give me like 2012 Miami Heat LeBron James.
Okay.
Miami Heat LeBron James.
We'll have to finish this here.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it into that inning, and mercifully, we're gonna have a chance to think this thing through. 5-3 is the lead for Athens Elite. We'll be back with more. You're watching the Georgia Open State Championship from LakePoint Sports.
We're here at LakePoint Sports, the site of the first Curve Test Center. There will be lots of Curve Test Centers, but this will always be the first. And why are we here? Here for a couple of reasons. One is if you think about the effort players are spending trying to get coaches to notice them, the effort coaches are spending trying to figure out who's actually any good, the poor parents who are sitting there saying, where's my kid headed? This is the answer for all that.
Everyone wants to be seen, right? Sometimes what can be seen is data. So it's hard to get in front of coaches at all these programs at once, or even the school you really want to go to. So using data helps us a ton. And as long as it's reliable and there's something that can give us better information with the small sample size is what we're looking for.
Curve Test Centers is redefining player and performance data when it comes to evaluation and recruiting. Test your athletic, cognitive, and baseball skills with TrackMan, Proteus, and more. Visit at the Bubble or sign up now at curvetestcenter.com. Don't miss this chance to level up your game. All right, so we've had a little bit longer time to think about this. Have you thought about any other names you want to throw into this? Who is this hypothetical basketball game? Who are these 5 people or fictional characters, real people facing?
So in your all situation, I would say that your 5v5 will go up against each other's.
Oh, okay.
And ours, we're just going with the original Space Jam's Monstars.
Okay. I wasn't sure if much like, as we're talking about with the men versus gorilla, if like the future of humanity is on the line.
I would say for the sake of this hypothetical, it is.
Okay.
Like you're playing for all the marbles. Whoever wins rules all of humanity.
All right. So I think at point guard, I would most definitely have Bow Wow from Like Mike.
Okay.
You know, you got a little guy that can basically like be a cross between Iverson and Michael Jordan. I think that's a good play. Jackson Allgood now at the plate for Athens Elite here. They're up 5-2 in the bottom of the second. Mentioned I've got Gulliver from Gulliver's Travels down in the paint.
I'm trying to think. I mean, if we're fictional or non-fictional is a tough. I'm not very into. I'm good in fictional sports movies.
Yeah.
But besides that, like I'm not into like. I don't know a lot of the other characters, like any huge person. You know, give me prime LeBron, give me prime Curry. Those are 2 guys. You know, there's my point and my 3. Give me prime Jordan as my 2.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some fictional characters.
Well, I've got Kylie Martin, who, if you ever seen the movie Above the Rim, is the main character. He ends up at Georgetown, as he finally decides that he can't live in the same sphere as Tupac, and can't has to get away from that life in order to live out his basketball dreams.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll take the little guy from Like Mike that can dunk and all that.
Yep.
Take that, and then my center is, was it Ty Crane? Is that his name? I don't know his actual fictional name. Is the center that in the movie Coach Carter, in the first scene where they get in a fight before Coach Carter takes over. Give me him. He was electric. And then obviously, my head coach is going to be Coach Carter.
Yeah.
And his assistant is going to be the guy from Hoosiers.
Okay.
He's going to,
Yeah.
And the Jimmy
Chitwood.
Yeah. He's my sixth man.
Okay.
He's the shooter coming off the bench, like Klay Thompson type.
Yeah.
Give me him. I'll take those six.
Well, I plugged the paint with Gulliver, but Neon Boudreaux, who I had to look this up. That's Shaq's name from Blue Chips. That era of Shaq was something, but the Chips version of that era of Shaq was like the second coming. Or Jesus Shuttleworth. We're not even like
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think now that I'm reconsidering, I think I'm just gonna take like the end Magic before, like the Magic end of Magic, first of Lakers, Shaq.
Yeah, that was.
And he's going to be my
force of
center.
nature.
And I'll take my five of LeBron, Curry, Jordan, Shaq, and I don't remember who my fifth person was, but give me those four with the coaching staff of Coach Carter, the guy from Hoosiers.
I like it.
Chitwood coming off the bench. Sign me up. That's a pretty legit five.
Yeah.
Airbud might pop him off
there you
like
go.
an eighth guy.
Well, that's your mascot.
Yeah.
Got Charlie Wentworth at the plate now. We're talking about guys who were off playing like a fictional character. Had himself a bases-clearing triple that led to this 5-3 lead for Athens. A lead here in the bottom of the second. See what he has in store here against Tate Broom for the second time in this game. He did. Oh, they say he went. I think there should be sensors in the plate and the bat so we can get away from this did he go on a check swing.
Yeah, it's just yes or no. I couldn't agree more.
Red light, green light.
Yeah.
Throw back over to first.
A little plug here. Get the blast sensors out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
Yeah.
And, we pride ourselves here at LakePoint Sports on being on the forefront of technology. I think we're going to make this happen. If we could take away the guessing game.
You get a blast sensor out there, a little subtle plug for our partner here at Prep Baseball. Let's get those. We get Caleb Stacy, our assistant tournament director. He's known to be a savant with getting the blast sensors on and off. Just have him sitting in the on-deck circle.
We could get those Google Meta glasses for the umpire, and they'd have the red light, green light go off.
Yeah.
Wow, we nearly had our camera taken out. Wentworth's tired of this conversation. When it comes back to him, but we could get them in those Meta glasses, and they would have a signal in there to know if it was red or green. Broom's going to step off. You continue to monitor. Are you feeling better about the weather situation?
I am. Obviously, there's forecasted thunderstorms this afternoon. I've been here long enough to know that they just pop up randomly.
Yep.
But, I'm not seeing them. It doesn't mean they're not going to happen. But if you are looking at a weather radar today, Weather Channel, Weather Bug, whatever news channel you want to tune into, we have something running from, basically the middle of Tennessee all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, America, whatever we're calling it these days. So that is.
Are they gonna be able to run the Kentucky Derby?
Oh yeah, we'll get them. They run through rain or shine.
Well,
I
that's
believe.
true. Got the aforementioned Matt Yarber's actually reaching out now. Wants to know about that ice maker.
Yeah, he's tuned into the broadcast.
Oh man, that one's ripped into right field. 80.8 off the bat. making the way home. The throw is, oh, man, just going to miss, and he's in there safely. Ball gets away from the catcher. Another run for Athens Elite, make it 6-3 as Jake Watkins comes through with the RBI single. And he roped that ball into right field.
Yeah, would have had a really close play at the plate there. First baseman just had a little bit of trouble getting it out of his glove there on the relay play. So good relay. Just got it stuck in the pocket a little bit and wasn't able to quite get the runner at the plate. But
Kai Alford now steps in with 2 down. 3-run lead for Athens Elite. Swing and a miss by Alford. What's the word from up high?
From who, Yarber?
Yeah.
He was just texting about the rain.
Okay.
So,
it's raining.
Yes, it is raining.
Believe today is also Matt Yarber's birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
That would be awful. Bad employee. Don't know Matt's birthday, so if it is, shout out to him.
It is. Yep. Today is Matt Yarber's birthday, so he is unfortunately a Michigan fan, but happy birthday to him nonetheless. Oh-2 count here for Alford.
Big shout out in the Yarber family. His oldest, Colvin, last week hit his first go-ahead 3-run homer.
Oh, nice!
In a 9U event, so over the fence homer. So
wow!
Big shout out to my guy Colvin with his first homer. So
that's fantastic.
And I think Dad was really excited. So
did he send it off to Shooter Hunt to get the scouting report on?
Yeah,
it?
we got to get the logo on the bottom and get it on the Twitter.
That's right. Get the profile up. It's the 1-2 to Alford. The miss inside. Are you guys going on a honeymoon?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We're going to Cancun.
Nice.
Going to all-inclusive resort down
you'll
there.
love that.
Bad booking by me. We got a 6:30 flight Sunday morning, so we'll see.
We had a similar situation. We went to Jamaica, and in hindsight, my wife said we should have taken a day or two instead of just going straight from the hotel to the airport. But you do what you got to do. You got to live in the moment. Payoff pitch.
Yeah, I am highly debating sleeping Saturday night I really don't want to wait. I mean, you're going to get to the hotel at 12:30, 1 o'clock, be up at 4:30, be up at 4, be at the airport at 4:30 for an international flight. And I don't know. It's one of those things. The last thing we need to do is oversleep.
That's right.
That opens a can of worms one day into a marriage that could be tough. So my fiance loves to sleep, so might let her catch some Z's, and I might
just stay up.
Yeah, I'm sure there's 4 or 5 YouTube videos that I can dive deep into, and eat some gummy bears from the shop downstairs, and just get ready to roll that next morning.
We've got a full count here. Alford at the plate, Broom on the mound. Athens Elite up 6-3 here in the bottom of the second inning. All right, there's a signal from home plate umpire, and AB will continue. Comes a payoff pitch once again from Broom. Back pick throw to second. Runner's going to stay safely. My son was supposed to have a tournament up in Dalton today, which got canceled by this weather. So,
yeah, they got hit pretty hard last night. If they didn't have turf, that makes a lot of sense.
Alford puts that one right through the hole there into left field. Runner's going to take off for home, and Alford's got himself an RBI single as Athens Elite has another run, make it 7-3 here in the second. It's going to rain a little bit harder now.
Really good at bat there. Obviously, 3-2 count. Was able to fight off a few 2-strike pitches and then able to shoot that one through the left side. So, really good at bat there by Alford.
Starting pitcher Carson Miller now at the plate. Pulls away from that pitch. starting to come down a little bit harder now. Ooh, he's getting his dancing shoes on at the plate in this AB. 55 pitches so far as we sit here in the bottom of the second inning for Tate Broom. He's walked 4, struck out 2, allowed 4 hits, 7 runs all earned. Miller puts that in play. The right fielder on the run. He's going to keep on running. 1 run in for Athens Elite. Miller's going to be making his way all the way to third. Is he going to hold there? A second run is Athens Elite, and we get the triple celly from Carson Miller as Athens Elite continues to build on this lead here in the second. I think that 9 runs on 5 hits so far for Athens Elite.
Athens Elite's done a really good job, obviously, early in this game of taking advantage of guys being on base. You know, a lot of big hits with guys in scoring position. That's their second bases clearing triple, here in only the second inning. So really good job by their offense of having a plan and, putting the ball in play.
I believe that's going to be it for Tate Broom. In fact, it is. We're going to have a pitching change for a USA Scout. We'll tell you about that new arm when we come back from LakePoint Sports.
So yeah, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard, front yard? Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Athens Elite has chased starting pitcher Tate Broom for USA Scout. We now got Logan Tilk taking over on the mound. Harrison 2029. We saw Broom go 1 2/3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Tilk steps in, got a fastball up around 74, changeup around 60 to 62. 12th prep baseball event for this 2029. Now at the plate for Athens Elite is Owens Fusco. He's the number 9 hitter in the order, be followed by Hutch Grove, the second baseman. 2 down here in the inning. Owens Fusco, Archer 2029, steps in, and that's in for a strike from Tilke. Rush that pitch, and that's going to miss inside. Swings through that and give Tilke this. He's working fast.
Working quickly, pounding the strike zone. Weather like this, that's all you can ask for. Keep the defense engaged. Last thing you want to be doing on defense is standing out there watching a walk fest. It's obviously his
wild pitch, but runner's going to hold at third. Tilke started off at shortstop. Slides over to the mound in relief of Tate Broom. Comes the 2-2. Sends that foul. Took it ready to go in. Now he's going to step off. Here comes the 2-2. That one's going to go foul. Rain continuing to pour here in Emerson.
Slowly but surely, we're getting through it.
Another 2-2. He's going to miss high. Count is now full. Fusco gets on. Hutch Grove be up for the second time. Fusco drew a walk in his first trip to the plate. So Ferguson making some adjustments there to the gear.
Got to make sure the leg strap is good.
Comes the payoff pitch. Sends that one foul.
The runner from third. Were we straight stealing there, running on contact?
It was pretty close.
Yeah, he got down there a good bit.
That's starting pitcher Carson Miller. Had himself a 3-run triple. Here is another 3-2. Now, get both pitcher and catcher on the same page here. But another long inning defensively for USA Scout. They allowed 5 runs in the first inning, 4 here in the second. Had 5 total hits for Athens Elite, and they've also taken advantage of 4 walks. And there's another walk. So now I'm at the corners that will bring up Hutch Grove.
Another really good at bat there from an Athens Elite hitter. You know, fell down 2-strike count, fought his way back to 3-2, fouled off 3 or 4 pitches, and then was able to draw the walk. So really good at bats here by the Athens Elite guys.
Second baseman Hutch Grove steps in. Was in play. Third baseman has it, gathers, throws in time, and that will bring an end to the inning. Athens Elite, though, leads 9-3 as we roll along in the Georgia Open State Championship. Avery Hunt, I'm going to let you go, man, because I know you've got a lot going on running this tournament. Best of luck with everything with the wedding, man. We're all excited for you. And, a new chapter in your life starts in 1 week. We'll be back with more from LakePoint Sports.
The Windscreen Factory, more than just windscreen. We're a full-service sports facility contractor. We manufacture windscreen for sports and construction, do fence repair and installation, and fabricate field netting and batting cages. In addition to manufacturing the products, we also install upon request. We make safety padding for backstops, rails, and walls, as well as full-service print shop with logo, branding, and signage capabilities. Please call us for a quote today.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. Carson Miller back on the mound for Athens Elite. His squad up 9-3 here in the top of the third inning. Avery Hunt steps out, and Grayson Rosen steps in. And Grayson, you were out there for the beginning of this game. A little bit of a surprise. We don't see Athens Elite here a ton. These guys have absolutely come out swinging here in their first 2 trips to the plate.
I mean, the biggest thing is that they were just able to get on base early, and that's always going to be a huge key to victory, especially in these games and pool plays. If you can get on early and you can just start rolling in, especially with that kind of momentum, and we saw them kind of feast off of it for a couple innings, if you can keep rolling like that, you're going to set yourselves up really well. And right now they've set themselves up with a 6-run lead.
Also helps when you have 2 bases clearing triples, which they've had from both Charlie Wentworth and from Carson Miller. So it's been a great inning for them offensively with their first 2 trips to the plate, and they have absolutely capitalized on the opportunities given, and as well as 4 walks issued by USA Scout pitching.
Yeah, I think you can draw as many walks as you want, but it's about being clinical in those situations, and obviously they've done their part with that too.
I think we actually have a pitching change for Athens Elite. Unfortunately, we're used to having that behind the pitcher shot where we do see the number for the pitcher, but that is not operating as typically does. So we actually have a pitching change for for Athens Elite. I believe this is Cooper Salmon, who's listed as number 99. So we can get a good look at that number when he turns around.
Maybe.
Those numbers are even hard to see.
Yeah, they are pretty difficult to see from this angle.
Count is now 3-1 here to Broome. Mentioned it from the offset that USA Scout played the game before this against Rawlings Tigers, in which they trailed 6-1. And were still able to fight back and push that to a 6-6 tie. So we've seen it before, and we saw it earlier today. This team has the ability to come back in a hurry, and we'll see what they can get a little bit of that going here as we sit in the top of the 3rd and they trail by 6 runs.
Yeah, we've seen our fair share of late runs in a big comeback fashion from USA Scout seemingly every time that they're out here.
Yeah.
We see some big major comeback with a huge explosive inning, and obviously starting it off with a base runner is a good way to go, but we'll see what they've got in store.
Austin Lacuzong now steps in, the Alatoona 2028. Playing third base today, his 3rd prep baseball event, 5'10", 185-pound righty. Just 1 hit so far for USA Scout. They've been walked 7 times, scored 3 runs. That's in for a strike.
Yeah, I mean, if you're USA Scout, you're almost fortunate to have those 3 runs right now on the board with how the bats have looked right now, but certainly a lot of opportunities to get things rolling here.
Runners taking off for second. Broome is going to be in there safely as that bounces over top the second baseman's head, cut off by the shortstop.
Yeah, we've seen that moment multiple times to this point, that ball just getting right past whoever's trying to apply the tag there at second base, but good work backing it up. We haven't seen too many big errors come off of that.
1-1 count now to Lacuzong. Ropes that into right field, but that will be hauled in for the out. So Avery and I went on quite a while with this man versus gorilla debate.
Yeah.
So where do you stand on?
I think so. The biggest kind of thing that you have to consider, because some people were taking it as it's 1v1 for 100 rounds. And then some people, it's one just pack of 100 people going at one time.
Yeah, those are 2 different things.
Yeah, you really got to clear the air there. So if it's 100 people going at it and we can handpick 100, that's an easy win. It's an easy win for the group of 100 people. But if it's round-based, I don't know if it necessarily matters who you're picking. But, you know, it's a very interesting hypothetical. I think it is hilarious how much traction it's really gotten.
Yeah. Well, I recently watched Rocky IV, and when they're first showing you Khal Drago, they say that the average heavyweight, it was impact per square inch was about a force of 800, and then when he punches the bag, it's at 1800.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 1 versus 1, maybe Khal Drago sent out there.
Maybe. See, my thought is I maybe more than a boxer.
I say Khal Drago, Ivan Drago. Khal Drago's from Game of Thrones.
That is true.
Yeah,
I was just hearing Drago. I was like, he's got it right.
Yeah,
no,
Khal Drago was Momoa's character from Game of Thrones.
Right.
That's
very different characters.
Very different. Yeah,
very different.
Ivan Drago.
Yes, Ivan Drago.
I don't want the comment section lighting up there.
Yeah.
2-0 misses, gets away from the catcher. Broom's going to make his way to third base.
And this is another opportunity where USA Scout might line themselves up for another run, regardless of getting any more hits into the score sheet. Yeah, what I was saying with the boxers, I don't know if it's boxers that I'm looking for, but maybe, like wrestlers or UFC guys might be more the angle. Like some of those early days of UFC, the guys that were going in the ring and just permanently damaging their bodies every couple of months, those are the guys that I can maybe see them going up against a gorilla and maybe putting up a fight.
Another wild pitch gets away from the catcher and going to hold though at third.
Kind of surprised Broom didn't make a break for it. Maybe just didn't get a good jump there.
Well, the initial UFC stuff, you also had those Gracie guys that would really little guys, but they could subdue guys.
Yeah,
that were 3 times their
jiu-jitsu
size.
in general is extremely impressive. If you watch a jiu-jitsu event versus what UFC or any other MMA looks like, it is polar opposites.
Graham Dooley draws a walk. Now be runners at the corners, and that will send Talon Wright to the plate, the first baseman.
This is already a good opportunity here for USA Scout. It had the fly out and weren't able to advance the runner, but
so 9 walks, and so you start looking at that hits column, and if you're USA Scout and you think you have 1 hit and 9 walks, and you've got 3 runs, I mean certainly you have had opportunities you've not been able to capitalize. So we'll see if they're able to do that with 1 down and runners at the corners here in a 6-run deficit in the third.
And is this Caden Wood on the mound?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think there's some confusion, right? So our scoreboard says Caden Wood, but number 99 on the Athens Elite roster is Cooper Salmon.
Yeah. Well, I just saw the number. I couldn't tell what it was, but it was a single digit.
Okay.
Oh, that one's hard hit out into the gap. See if that gets down. Great catch on the run.
Fantastic run and catch by the center fielder, but a run will score for USA Scout, and another runner will advance to third. Make it 9-4 now. USA Scout gets 1 back as Cal Morrison steps in.
Yeah, Dooley getting real lucky with the off-balance catch there. Was able to get back to second and still successfully tag up and move to third. See if Cal Morrison can cut into a 5-run lead now.
Yeah, going to be excited to see this interview with Jack McCartney and Cal Morrison as we get into the post-game today. 2 down here in the inning. 9-4 game. Morrison pitched for USA Scout in that first game. The 1-0. And we've mentioned a couple times here, typically we play hour 45 games, but every game today, because of the constraints from yesterday's canceled games from the weather, is now an hour 30. So we're looking at about 26 minutes of game time remaining in this one. Athens Elite is the home team. If they have another offensive inning like they've had the last 2, we may not get past the 3rd inning. So every AB matters for USA Scout as they try to eat into this thing.
It looks like maybe our umpire's going to claim some more baseballs.
Yeah.
Grayson, what's your top 5 pick for going against the Gorilla?
Man, I think I'm going to need Chuck Liddell, kind of going along the lines of what I was talking about. I think he's a fantastic option. I'm trying to think. I mean, I need maybe a classic strongman type, like Arnold Schwarzenegger maybe. Might fit into that category. I think you grossly disrespected Michael Phelps.
I did, or he did? Okay,
Mason.
Did.
I mean, that was just
would not
crazy.
Be the only one to say so. We have gotten emails from his legal team saying that I need to issue a public apology.
One name that I didn't think about, and I'm remiss for doing so. Andre the Giant, 7'4", 520 pounds.
Well, my top 5's not done, so I'm going to go with Andre the Giant. I came up with that one all by myself. I had that before you said it. Trying to think, maybe Sean Bradley. I know he's kind of brittle, but 7'6", I think, 7'5".
Wow, yeah.
I'll take Sean Bradley.
In case the gorilla needs a toothpick.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I'm going that route, then maybe just Manute Bol.
Okay.
I mean, Manute Bol was like 50 years old when he was in the league, and nobody knew. I got one more. Give me Josh Donaldson. He's just fiery. I loved watching him when he was on the Braves.
But he would bring an umbrella with him.
No.
He wouldn't have an umbrella. Oh, he can't have an umbrella.
No weapons. But, I mean, he could do the celebration afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. That's in for a strike.
Giving Cal Morrison a free ride down to second base there.
Yeah.
So 2 outs, runners on second and third base. See what they can get done here.
Christian Crane at the plate. Cole Trawick was in this spot, but Crane's going to...
I think that is...
Oh, this is
still
Cole Trawick.
Trawick.
Here we always get into this issue with the number changes for USA Scout on this national team as they bring some players in. So Trawick, a little frustrated by that call, but counts now 0-2. Yeah, I mentioned that athletic article that I read this morning to Avery that there was the umpires decided they used to have a 2-inch buffer. That one's chopped foul. They used to have a 2-inch buffer around the strike zone that they will allow to still have some leeway for the strike.
Yeah.
They've now cut that down to 3/4 of an inch.
Wow.
And so the pitchers and catchers were unaware of it. So guys are basically finding out as the season wears on.
That seems like a violation of the union. I think the players' union should have a problem with that.
Travis Darno in the article said they had no idea.
Yeah.
And he said it's been really frustrating.
That's something that's got to be communicated when you're essentially changing the rules.
Yeah.
You definitely got to communicate that with the Players Association and in Major League Baseball so that can be handled properly. I mean, that'd be like when they made the change to the bases and just changed the size of the bases and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. There's the 1-2, and that's in for a strike and goes down on strikes. Strands some. Get one back, though. 9-4 lead for Athens Elite. You're watching the Georgia Open State Championship. We'll be back from LakePoint Sports.
So, outrage is trending. Our feed's stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard? Front yard. Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect.
We are back here at LakePoint Sports. Some great footage from the field there from Matty Bullock. Logan Tilk back on the mound for USA Scout, and he will be facing the top of the order for Athens Elite. That's Harrison Ray, Jackson Allgood, and Cooper Salmon. Cory McCartney and Grayson Rosen with you. Got a 9-4 lead for Athens Elite. I think we've got about 15 minutes of game time remaining.
I think we've just been really... Actually, no, I'm just not going to say anything. I was about to say something I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I don't want to curse us here.
Well, I will say Athens Elite has been really impressive at the plate in their first 2 innings. 5 runs in the first, second in the 4, the second in the 4, fourth in the 4 in the second. I can't even get through this. The weather's not the only thing out of sorts at the moment, but 5 runs in the first, 4 in the second. They have 5 total hits.
So if we're following patterns, do they score 3 here?
There you go. Well, Harrison Ray is 0 for 2. Mentioned they've had 2 3-run triples coming from Charlie Wentworth and Carson Miller, which, should they hold on, is going to make for an interesting debate when we talk player of the game. Nobody has 2 hits, though, amongst their 5.
Ooh. So that did hit him.
All right, so Ray makes his way down to first. That'll bring up Jackson Allgood. Ray, the Elbert County 2029, now standing at first. Allgood, Athens Christian 2029, second prep baseball event for this 620-pounder. And
ooh, did we potentially just go into a lightning delay? Or was that, I don't think that was game
Don't
time.
believe that was game time. That's actually going to be ball game. Hey, so guess what? we have a final. 9-4 is the win for Athens Elite over USA Scout. Things moving swiftly here on a rainy Saturday in Emerson. We're going to come back and talk player of the game and more when we get back here from the studio in the Baseball Village.
Next. Next. Stop.
You got it?
No. Keep going.
Again.
Next. Next.
If you don't pick one.
Oh, you have time. Am I keeping you from your job? Next. I don't even know where I am anymore. Stop.
Do we finally have it?
Let's go back to the beginning.
Are you
Your
joking?
electric future customized. The fully electric Audi Q4 e-tron.
Making every second count. That is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water. Water for the athlete and all of us.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI do your homework even faster?
Come again?
Sorry, what was that?
Introducing the next generation 10G network, only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
Welcome back to LakePoint Sports. We just saw a very abbreviated ending, went quicker than we thought. There was a couple minutes left on the clock, but they pulled the trigger, and USA Scout and Athens Elite ends up with a 9-4 win for Athens Elite in this pool play action. Now, in action today for USA Scout, we had catcher and right-handed pitcher Cal Morrison, who's on his way to Gilmer High School here in Georgia, two-time invitee to the Rising Stars preseason All-State and ID opportunity for prep baseball as they build out their junior feature games roster. So Morrison, definitely a name to know in this class. Jack McCartney caught up with Morrison pregame, so let's get to know this USA Scout two-way.
I'm here with Cal Morrison, 2029.
Bit of a technical difficulty. That in the business is what we call a tease when you put something up there like that. So let's talk player of the game real quick while we've got a moment. And Athens Elite ends up with 9 runs on 5 hits, 2 bases clearing triples. And when you start looking at those 2 triples for Carson Miller and for Charlie Wentworth, made it really difficult in trying to figure out how we were going to get this thing sorted out and player of the game.
Yeah, well, I think the tie goes to Wentworth. When you go 1 for 1, it was that big triple. He also walked, and I believe he reached on error was the other. He's also responsible for 5 runs. So he got the 3 RBIs. He scored the 2 runs himself as well. So it obviously this whole team stepped up. But those 2 guys really capitalized in those big moments. We talked about you can get as many base runners as you want, but you got to be clinical. And that's exactly what those 2 did. And big shout out to Wentworth for how he played in the game.
Yeah, Charlie Wentworth is player of the game. The Monsignor Donovan Catholic 2028 had the first of 2 bases clearing triples for Athens Elite as they won 9-4. Let's see if we're ready to go back to that interview as we've got Jack McCartney pregame with USA Scout two-way Cal Morrison.
Unfortunately, the video is not wanting to play.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here in studio and see if we can get things on track.
So yeah, Outrage is trending, our feet stirring us up, splitting us up. What if we came out from behind our walls and keyboards just for a sec and just go yard? Front yard. Come out bagging, jumping, check on that Johnsonville feed. Let our individual flavors blend together. Yes, block nobody, block party. Keep it juicy.
Boogie woogie jam slam, bust the dialect, come to
We've built it up long enough. Jack McCartney caught up with Cal Morrison pregame, so let's get to know this USA Scout two-way.
I'm here with Cal Morrison, 2029 catcher for USA Scout. Cal, man, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
You're a catcher in a national team. You deal with a lot of players coming down, especially pitchers. How different is it and difficult is it to get all these pitchers to come in and get on the same wavelength before you get into games?
Just getting to know the guy, seeing him in the bullpen, knowing what he likes, what he doesn't like, and getting after it.
All right, so you talk about how difficult that is. You play two different sports. That's difficult on its own. How different is the strength training going in to playing football and then going in and playing baseball?
It translates. I mean, working speed work, strength work, it just translates to be an athlete in both sports.
Now, you have all this stuff going on. I also saw that you fish. Do you see fishing as a relaxation thing, or do you see it as a competitive kind of thing bring into it?
I see it as more relaxing, my getaway from sports when I have time.
And you also, not only do you catch, but you also pitch, as you just did in your last game. Where do you see your strength is going into that next season, going into the high school level?
I see it as more catching than pitching because I'm stronger there than I ever have been.
All right, Cal, man, that was great. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great stuff from Jack there and Cal Morrison. Again, a 9-5 win for Athens Elite over USA Scout in our game of the day from the Georgia Open State Championship. We will be back next Saturday with coverage of the May Slugfest, so you won't want to miss that one. So make sure you're following LakePoint Sports on all of our social media channels. We'll have tune-in information. Of course, those broadcasts will be available for free on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Until next time, for Grayson, Rosen, Avery Hunt, Jack McCartney, Maddie Bullock, and Mason Monroe, I'm Cory McCartney, and we are signing off from LakePoint Sports.